What's up, everybody? It is Desiree LeCap, aka LeCapture, back on your screen with another video. Don't mind the fuzzies in my hair, man, and you know, it's okay. We have those days. This one is an exciting one, just like any other video I post, but this one has like a special place in my heart. And let me tell you why real quick. So about a year ago today, I set a goal for myself to post 20 to 30 days straight on TikTok specifically. Because I saw it was like a platform where you could kind of pop off, I was like, okay, cool. I have a passion for wanting to teach and spread educational tips and tricks. And at the time, I was very much into my gimbal and, you know, filming with it a lot. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna spread some gimbal tips and tricks. So I wrote down 10 gimbal tips and tricks, and I took my Canon G7X out, put it on a tripod, called my homie up, and I was like, yo, meet me at the park. Can you be my subject? I want to film gimbal tips and tricks. And this was literally when I was working at a job, like remotely, but I had to rush it because I had meetings in between. I was like, shit, I gotta get back. So this is these clips here. This gimbal move is called the wipe transition. It will add production value to your video. I say this to say that social media was never in my plan. I was doing that all for fun. I set a goal to hit like 10K followers by the end of that week. And because I was so consistent with gimbal tips and tricks and spreading valuable information to people, I hit my goal. And then ever since then, I kind of been very consistent with it and gained more of a passion for wanting to show you guys or teach you guys anything and everything that I know. So we're gonna go out and we're gonna bring that back and share with you some gimbal tips and tricks. And what makes this one even more special is that I'm just using my iPhone 13 Pro with a phone gimbal that Hohem has sent me. This video is not sponsored by Hohem though. They just sent me the product and I'm just using it in this case. So it just goes to show that you really don't need the fanciest equipment. The best camera that you have is the one in your pocket. It's just really elevating your composition, your framing, your storytelling, etc. I'm really excited about this one, so let's get to it. The Hohem iSteady M6 is really packed with a punch. A professional 3-axis smartphone stabilizer ideal for vloggers, live streamers, filmmakers, and anyone who wants to create smooth and steady content. From all modes like POV, pan follow, pan tilt follow, it also features a magnetic fill light integrated with an AI vision sensor, which offers space and object tracking during any time of the day. You signal this signal, now we're just being tracked without even having anybody control the gimbal because AI is really on point with it. And to stop it, all you have to do is signal stop and it'll read it. And now it's not tracking me. This first gimbal move is called the wall orbit transition. To achieve this move, you're gonna need a few locations with a fairly flat wall. Some key tips to remember. Put your gimbal on pan and follow mode, that way your tilt axis is locked. When you're filming, walk in a complete half circle, trying to keep your subject in the center with the same distance in between. Here's a good tip when you're shooting with your iPhone, is to lock your exposure and your lighting so it doesn't change throughout your clip. To create the speed ramp effect in Premiere Pro, you want to have these waves on your clip. Make sure you already trim off your beginning and end when your movement stops. That way the transition is smooth. Right-click on Effects and make sure Speed Ramp is selected. Hit Ctrl and the arrow with the plus sign will pop up when you're hovering over the speed line indicator. At a keyframe where you want the clip to slow down, you drag it up to your speed preference, and creating an S-curve on your keyframes will help ease the transition. Repeat that on all of the beginning and end of your clips and clean it up as you desire. Then we want to add some finesse. Highlight all of your clips and bring it into After Effects. Highlight all of your layers and hit Motion Blur on the left side. And then search up Force Motion Blur in the Effects panel. It adds that motion blur we want during the transition so it feels seamless. Then you can play around with everything else and clean it up as you'd like. This next gimbal move is called the side track. Just as it sounds, we're tracking the subject's side profile. I just have my pan axis activated for this one. A good tip to remember is not to do the crab walk. It can cause jitter to your footage and make you and possibly the subject awkwardly uncomfortable. The way you want to do it is face forward because you'll be walking forward, and pan your gimbal towards your subject, taking a step as they take a step so that way you keep them in the same framing area of your clip. Try to play around with different focal lengths and composition when you're doing this gimbal move. It really can enhance and tell different stories, so try to keep that in mind. Next, we're going to combine some gimbal moves. It's called the follow orbit shot. First, we're going to start by following our subject into the building. With the entrance frames on the sides, it adds depth as we pass by. Second, once our subject stops, we're going to orbit around him to add expression and to show the audience what he's seeing. A tip, have your subject turn and look the opposite way the camera is going. It sort of adds that Michael Bay or parallax effect. This gimbal move is the tilt up reveal. It's pretty straightforward. My gimbal settings are on the pan tilt follow mode, making sure those axes are unlocked. I start by tracking the stairs up to revealing my subject walking and continuing the tilt motion to show his environment. Because the architecture was so beautiful, we wanted to show off what he saw. This gimbal move is fairly similar, just the opposite, so my gimbal settings are the same. I had my camera facing up, and as I was walking forward, I then panned and tilted down to my subject and decided to orbit around him to a side shot. The architecture was so beautiful, I wanted to start there, then reveal my subject walking. This gimbal move is the fake drone shot. So with POV on this gimbal, it basically unlocks all of the axes, so it has a free range of movement. So you could really use this anywhere. You just really have to fly through the building or the location you're at, making moves as if it was a drone. Pretty simple, but a cool effect. Granted, you may not need a gimbal for all these shots, depending on the story you're trying to convey, but I wanted to show you that if you want smooth running shots, a gimbal can help with that. I have the gimbal on lock mode, and this is me running dramatically across, trying to shake the gimbal as much as possible. But besides the objects in the foreground, it came out pretty smooth. Alright y'all, I had a really great time bringing it back to my beginning roots of giving you guys some gimbal tips and tricks. If you liked and enjoyed this video, if you took anything away from it, please drop a like, a comment, share, and subscribe. I'm super excited where this journey will take us, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'll see y'all at the next video. Period!